This set of notes is about heats of formation. Heats of formation is a second way to go ahead and estimate reaction enthalpies. Yesterday we learned about Hess's law as a way to estimate. This is a second way that's based off of and is closely related to Hess's law. All right, so to understand heats of formation, we first have to understand what a formation reaction is. So 3 things have to be true in order for something to be a formation reaction. You have to have 1 mole of the compound formed. So on the back side of it, the formation reaction is always written as a synthesis where you have 1 mole of the product. Second thing, it's going to be made from its constituent elements. So it's, in other words, a synthesis made from elements only. And last but not least, the elements are in their natural elemental forms. So that means if they come in as a gas reaction, that's what they should be in. If they come in as diatomics, they should come in into the equation that way as well. So an example down here, this is the heat of formation of liquid water. All right, so as you can see in this, the coefficient in front of the H2O would be 1. So 1 mole of the compound is formed. It's made of its constituent elements. So water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen. And the elements in their natural form. Okay, hydrogen in its natural form is a diatomic gas. Oxygen in its natural form is a diatomic gas. Okay, so you're going to roll with that. If you balance this thing out normally, you would end up with 2H2 plus O2 goes to 2H2O. But formation reactions have to be written in terms of 1 mole of the compound form. So we're going to divide everything by 2, and that's where we get the 1/2 O2 from. All right, so we can then use formation reactions and the enthalpies that go along with those formation reactions to estimate reaction enthalpies using heats of formation. So the enthalpy of formation, delta H of sub F, is defined as the enthalpy change of a formation reaction, like we talked in the previous screen. That magnitude of delta H of F depends upon the temperature, the pressure, and the state of matter of the reactants and products. So it's usually defined at a particular temperature and pressure. The most natural elemental form of element has a delta H of F of 0. So for example, in our last thing, we said the natural elemental form of H2 is H2, or hydrogen is H2 gas. Okay, so the delta H of F of that element of delta H2O is 0. So the formation of individual elements is 0. So as we said, heat of formation depends upon temperature and pressure. So we typically talk about standard enthalpies of formation, which happen at standard conditions. Now, to be clear, standard conditions is not STP. Okay, so STP, which we use back in gas laws, is 0 degrees Celsius or 273 Kelvin and 1 atmosphere. Standard conditions are a little bit different in chemistry. So again, really stupid for them to name them the exact same. Standard conditions are 25 degrees Celsius or 298 K and 1 atmosphere of pressure. So there's a difference in the temperatures for standard conditions versus STP, standard temperature and pressure. Okay, these standard enthalpies of formation, in other words, the energy that's required in a reaction to a formation reaction of different substances, is well known for many reactions. Through years, calorimetry has been used to go ahead and measure the enthalpies of different substances being formed. And so we've generated a table of this. Okay, so we've got this table. And in the POGL today, I introduced you to table C, or appendix C, which is an even more extensive table. But on here underneath, it gives you the delta H of F in kilojoules per mole. So again, under standard conditions, designated by that little degree sign there, is how we designate standard conditions, this is the enthalpy for the formation of each of these substances. Okay, so using standard enthalpies of formation, we can estimate the enthalpy of a reaction for any reaction. So for example, let's say we wanted to estimate the delta H for the combustion of propane, C3H8. Okay, so here's the balanced chemical reaction for that. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to imagine this occurring in steps of formation reactions or reverse formation reactions. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with our reactants. Okay, our reactants are right here, C3H8 plus 5O2. Okay, right here in this particular reaction. Okay, so the first thing that we would need to do in order to be able to form these substances over here would be to break these things down. So those are going to, breaking down would be the opposite of formation. It would be decomposition. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create reverse formations for each of the reactants. What does that look like? Well, one of our reactants is C3H8. So the opposite of formation is decomposition. So that would decompose into 3C plus 4H2. Next one, other reactant is O2. O2 gas is an element in its natural state, so there isn't a formation reaction for that. Then, so now that we've broken down our reactants, now we're going to form our products. So formations for each of the products. So CO2, 4H2O, so that would be 3 C's plus 3 O2s gives me 3 CO2. And 4H2 plus 2O2 is going to give me 4 H2Os. Okay, so again, we put some coefficients in front of things to make that happen. Okay, so doing that, using Hess's law, then, we can go ahead and we can sum up these reactions. So the graphite cancels out, the hydrogens cancel out, and now I'm left with C3H8 plus 5 O2s gives me 3 CO2s plus 4 H2Os. Okay. So thus, since we just summed that up using Hess's law, we can use Hess's law. And so we can sum up the reactions of delta H of F so that if we sum the number of moles times the HF of the products and subtract the number of moles times HF of the reactants, we can go ahead and figure out delta H of F for the entire reaction. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start out. So if I look up the heat of formation of CO2, that's negative 393.5. I multiply that by 3 because of the coefficient. I'm adding that to 4 times the heat of formation of water, which is this. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract because these are heats of decomposition, not of formation. And I'm going to go ahead and take 1 times the heat of formation of C3H8. And 5 times the heat of formation of O2, which again is going to be 0 because it's in its natural state. Do the math, add them all up, and I get negative 22.19 kilojoules. That's the basics of heats of formation.